Adolf Hitler, the man who would plunge the world into darkness, was born in Austria on April 20th, 1889. His birth took place in the small town of Braunau am Inn, a place that would later become infamous due to its association with him. His birthplace, Braunau am Inn, was a small town on the border of Germany and Austria. This borderland setting would play a significant role in shaping his early perceptions of national identity. Hitler's early life was marked by instability and loss. The frequent moves and the death of his siblings created an environment of uncertainty and grief. His father, Alois, was a strict customs official, and his mother, Clara, was a doting parent who struggled to protect her children from Alois's harsh discipline. Alois's authoritarian nature clashed with Clara's nurturing demeanor, creating a tense household atmosphere. Hitler's family moved frequently during his childhood, adding to the sense of disruption. Each move meant a new school, new friends, and a new environment to adapt to, which was challenging for young Adolf. He attended several different schools, but showed little academic promise. His teachers often described him as lazy and inattentive, and he struggled to find his place in the academic world. He was often withdrawn and struggled to make friends. His solitary nature and frequent relocations made it difficult for him to form lasting relationships with his peers. Some historians believe that Hitler's troubled childhood, particularly his difficult relationship with his father, contributed to his later psychological development and worldview. The constant tension at home and his father's authoritarianism may have influenced his later desire for control and power. Despite a tumultuous home life, Hitler found solace in the world of fantasy and imagination. He spent hours reading, losing himself in stories that allowed him to escape his reality. He devoured adventure novels and developed a fascination with German nationalism and mythology. These stories of heroism and national pride resonated deeply with him. These early influences would later shape his political ideology and his twisted vision for Germany's future. The seeds of his radical beliefs were planted during these formative years. By the time Hitler reached adolescence, he had developed a strong sense of German identity, even though Austria and Germany were separate nations at the time. His sense of belonging to a greater Germanic culture was unwavering. He rejected the multi-ethnic Habsburg Empire that ruled Austria, instead embracing a romanticized view of a powerful and unified German state. This rejection of the Habsburgs and his idealization of a unified Germany would become central to his later political ambitions. This early nationalism would prove to be a driving force throughout his life. It fueled his ambitions and justified his actions, leading to the catastrophic events that would follow. As a young man, Adolf Hitler harbored dreams of becoming an artist. He was particularly drawn to painting and architecture, seeing in them a way to express his creativity and leave his mark on the world. Hitler's artistic aspirations were fueled by his admiration for the grandeur of Vienna, the Austro-Hungarian capital where he moved in his late teens. He spent countless hours wandering the city's streets, sketching its imposing buildings and monuments. He was captivated by the works of the great masters and longed to create art that would inspire awe and admiration. In 1907, filled with hope and ambition, Hitler applied to the prestigious Vienna Academy of Fine Arts. To his bitter disappointment, Hitler was rejected by the Academy. He applied again the following year, but was once more turned away. The rejections were crushing blows to Hitler's ego, leaving him feeling deeply inadequate and resentful. Historians have debated the reasons for Hitler's failure to gain admission to the Academy. Some argue that his artistic skills were simply not up to par, while others suggest that his portfolio lacked originality and depth. Whatever the reasons, these rejections marked a turning point in Hitler's life. With his artistic dreams shattered, he drifted aimlessly through Vienna, struggling to survive and becoming increasingly bitter and disillusioned. The years following his rejection from art school were a dark period for Adolf Hitler. He had harbored dreams of becoming a great artist, but those dreams were shattered when he was denied admission to the Academy of Fine Arts in Vienna. He lived in poverty in Vienna, taking odd jobs and selling postcards to make ends meet. The city, with its stark contrasts between wealth and poverty, left a deep impression on him. It was during this time that his anti-Semitism already present in his worldview, intensified. He began to consume a steady diet of anti-Semitic literature and propaganda, which further fueled his growing hatred. Hitler blamed the Jews for his personal misfortunes and for the economic woes of Vienna. This scapegoating provided him with a convenient explanation for his failures and the broader societal issues he observed. He immersed himself in the city's seedy underbelly, frequenting beer halls and listening to radical speakers who espoused nationalist, anti-Semitic and anti-Marxist views. These beer halls were hotbeds of political discourse and radical ideas. These ideas resonated with Hitler's own growing sense of anger and resentment, providing him with a framework for understanding the complexities of the world. He began to see himself as part of a larger struggle against perceived enemies of the German people. In 1913, Hitler moved to Munich, Germany, seeking a fresh start. Munich, with its vibrant political scene, offered new opportunities for him to engage with like-minded individuals. When World War I broke out the following year, he volunteered to serve in the German army, seeing it as an opportunity to prove his worth and find purpose. The war provided him with a sense of belonging and a cause to fight for. Hitler served with distinction on the Western Front, earning the Iron Cross for bravery. His experiences in the trenches, witnessing the horrors of war, further shaped his worldview. The war had a profound impact on Hitler, shaping his worldview and solidifying his belief in German superiority. He became convinced that Germany's destiny was to dominate Europe, and that he had a role to play in achieving this goal. He was devastated by Germany's defeat in 1918, which he viewed as a betrayal by the weak Weimar Republic that replaced the monarchy. This sense of betrayal and humiliation fueled his desire for revenge and redemption. It was in the aftermath of the war, amidst the chaos and disillusionment of post-war Germany, that Hitler's political career began to take shape. He joined the German Workers' Party, which would later become the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or Nazi Party, setting the stage for his rise to power. Section 4, the rise of the Nazi Party, from beer hall putschs to national power. After the war, Adolf Hitler returned to Munich, a city teeming with discontent and political radicalism. The city was a hotbed of political activity, with various factions vying for control and influence. The economic hardships and social unrest created a fertile ground for extremist ideologies to take root. He joined the small and relatively unknown German Workers' Party, or DAP, attracted by its nationalist, anti-Semitic and anti-communist platform. The party's ideas resonated with Hitler's own beliefs, and he saw an opportunity to rise within its ranks. Hitler quickly rose through the ranks of the party, his fiery oratory and charisma captivating audiences. His speeches were filled with passionate rhetoric, promising a return to national greatness and blaming Germany's woes on various scapegoats. He proved to be a skilled propagandist, exploiting people's fears and resentments to build support for the DAP, which he soon renamed the National Socialist German Workers' Party, or Nazi Party. Through relentless propaganda, he was able to attract a growing number of followers. Under Hitler's leadership, the Nazi Party grew rapidly in size and influence, attracting disaffected veterans, unemployed workers, and members of the middle class who longed for a return to order and stability. The party's message of national rejuvenation and strong leadership appealed to many who felt betrayed by the current government. In 1923, emboldened by their growing popularity, Hitler and the Nazi Party attempted to seize power in Munich in what became known as the Beer Hall Putsch. The coup was a bold and risky move, reflecting Hitler's growing ambition and confidence in his movement. The coup failed, and Hitler was arrested and sentenced to prison for treason. His arrest was a significant setback, but it also provided him with an unexpected opportunity. However, the trial gave him a national platform to promote his ideology. During the proceedings, Hitler used the courtroom as a stage to broadcast his views to a wider audience, gaining sympathy and support from various quarters. While in prison, Hitler wrote Mein Kampf, or My Struggle, a rambling and hate-filled autobiography outlining his political views and his plans for Germany. The book detailed his vision for the future of Germany, including his ideas on race, living space, and the role of the state. The book became the blueprint for the Nazi movement, espousing a toxic mix of nationalism, anti-Semitism, and racial purity. It laid the ideological foundation for the policies that the Nazi Party would later implement. After serving only 9 months of his sentence, Hitler was released from prison in 1924. His time in prison had only strengthened his resolve, and he was more determined than ever to achieve his goals. Section 5. A Nation Transformed. Hitler's Germany and the Path to War. Upon his release from prison, Adolf Hitler was more determined than ever to seize power in Germany. He rebuilt the Nazi Party, exploiting the economic hardships of the Great Depression to gain support. The Nazis presented themselves as the only party capable of restoring Germany to its former glory. They promised jobs, economic recovery, and a return to national pride. Hitler's message resonated with millions of Germans who were desperate for change. Through a combination of intimidation, propaganda, and political maneuvering, the Nazis steadily gained seats in the Reichstag, the German parliament. In 1933, with Germany on the brink of chaos, President Paul von Hindenburg appointed Adolf Hitler as Chancellor of Germany. Hitler quickly consolidated his power, transforming Germany from a democracy into a totalitarian dictatorship. He outlawed all other political parties, suppressed freedom of speech, and imprisoned his opponents. The Nazis established a vast propaganda machine to control information and indoctrinate the population, particularly the youth. They glorified violence, militarism, and racial purity, while demonizing Jews, communists, and anyone deemed an enemy of the state. Hitler's grip on Germany was absolute, and the world watched with growing apprehension as he prepared for war.